I've got a golden ticket.
That's a winner!
We're back here live at DraftKings at Casino Queen. I think John disappeared on us. I think he's got to get in action, Earl.
He's got that itch. He's
I
trying to go
know.
place a bet.
I know. I mean, the live game. Have you bet live game before?
Never.
No.
Sounds weird.
Yeah, it is. It's a little strange. It's a little hard to get used to. But yeah, the lines change every time. Depends who has the ball. I've never done it with football.
I've had people that done it like for halves, like NBA or fourth quarter or something, but
Yeah.
never like that.
Here he comes back. Did we get in? Did we get in? It's not working. Okay. All right. Well, we tried. So we talk about in-game betting. It's kind of new, and with basketball, you're familiar with all of it. So during football, it seems like you've got some time in between the plays, right? A little bit. Basketball is like
Right.
instant. The
Yeah.
other team has the ball, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, are you familiar with in-game with basketball?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right.
Biggest thing is, so do you think, so if team averages, let's say, if they average in college basketball, let's say 62 points a game, and they're off to a big start, they're not going to keep that pace up more than likely because they average 62 points a game. If they're on a 73, 75 point pace, then that's when that line will move up so you can get a good number on the under. So if the game under is 125, they're off to a great start. It'll shoot up to like 138, 141, 142, and then you can take that under before it moves back down. Or
I like
another
that.
thing, if they score a lot of points in the first half, and let's say the line is 125, they score 72 points in the first half, so the line's going to jump all the way up to like 144. So you can take the under 144. They'll more than likely finish at about 130.
So I think it like more in pro. And Earl, maybe you can explain how this happens because I've always been curious. I don't claim to know really anything about the NBA, right? So how can a professional team, number one, get up by over 20 points? And what really blows my mind is if a team does get up by, I can see that more than I can see a team that's up by 20 points, a professional team, going back to where the other team is equal or wins the game. Earl, maybe you can shed some light on that because that doesn't compute in my head.
How a team down by 20 can come back and realistically win a game most of the time?
Yeah, especially in the NBA.
Sometimes in the league, they get your running plays. It's like, hey, we're going to do this. And after a certain point, it's kind of like we got to score points. So everything's out the window, and somebody might get hot, or there might be a play that you haven't been running. It's like, man, let's just run this. Or some guys just like, hey, let's just run a pick and roll. So it's more free as opposed to a structured flex or a cross screen, all these different things. But certain times of the game, it's like, hey, we're just gonna post up. Or like Golden State, they might throw it in the post, and they're doing all kind of screens to get up more shots and to push the ball, to push the pace. You might be walking the ball up for the first 3 quarters, trying to run and execute this play for you, this play for him, this play for me. And then the fourth quarter, it's like, hey, we're just getting the ball out and we're running. We're just going to get it out. We're trying to get stops. The team kind of picks up the defense, and we're just running. First, if you're open, shoot. If not, we're not trying to run clock, milk clock, and all that. We're trying to get up as many shots as possible. And some teams play like that for 4 quarters. Teams that put up, 125, 130,
That's what I was going to
140
ask you.
points.
Why didn't you just start that way?
But you don't want to get in a shootout with some teams. Some teams you want to grind it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to make them work. You don't want to, because some teams want you to, they want to just run and gun. So
I was just always curious. Like
It's
get up
weird.
to that 20
I've been
points.
a
I mean,
part of it. I've been a part of games where we were up 7 with the ball with 30 seconds, and that's 7 points in a 45-second time frame where you lose. It's like, how do you lose with the ball 40 seconds? It's like it happens. I've seen my biggest comeback. I was in the D League, and we were in Erie, Pennsylvania, playing against I think they were the Bayhawks at the time.
Bayhawks. Okay,
We were
that's a
down
new one.
35 points at halftime.
wow.
35 points at halftime, and we had a really good team, but they were just they weren't missing, and we were just like, we weren't even like locked. We weren't even like down. We were just like, hey man, let's just go out. We're gonna come back. It was funny. We're like, hey man, let's just go out. We're gonna hoop. We're gonna, we missed a lot of shots. We said, let's just go out and hoop. Came out, and we thought we were just gonna come back and boom, boom, boom. They probably pushed it like 37. We're like, oh, we're not gonna win. It's like they're still going. And then we cut it to 32. We cut it to below 30, 25. It's like, let's get it below 20. We got it below 20 before the third quarter to like the teens. The fourth quarter hit. We cut it to single digits. We tied it up. And we took the lead. We ended up winning by probably 10.
See,
And,
that blows my mind.
yeah,
That
it was,
absolutely blows my
yeah.
Halftime, you outscore them
But
by
you lock up,
45.
Yeah, but you're right. The other team starts trying to get desperate to make the game closer,
Yeah.
and that team that shot 78% in the first half, they're not going to
Yeah.
keep that pace up.
Yeah.
They're not going to keep up a 78%
But where's
pace.
I,
It's
I,
like
I hear what you're
horses.
saying. It's not, but
When
no,
they start out the gate, and and you're like, well, they're
You
going
might
to die
switch a
at the end.
matchup. Like you might be guarding David
No.
for the first half, and it's like, all right, Earl, you got David now. So now I'm guarding you. Got different,
that ain't gonna
size,
happen.
speed, all that stuff. But guys pick up their intensity. Guys, start taking the game more personal because especially if it's a team you're expected to beat pretty easily. Now you're down 30. It's like, I can't believe this guy got 12 points. He averages 6. And then you go out, and that guy that had 12 in the first half doesn't score a bucket the second quarter.
See,
That
now
guy that
you-
hit 5 threes doesn't hit 1 3 the second quarter.
See, now
And
you mentioned something like you have to bring it every night, right?
yeah,
It's
I
hard to
mean,
do, right?
Good teams, it's not really hard because you got so many weapons. You got a shooter, you got a good point guard, you got a center that can make free throws and score and shoot. Especially with me playing with another guy that can shoot. It's who you gonna guard? You're gonna take me out the paint. You're gonna guard in the paint. You're gonna let me shoot the jump shot. You're gonna not let me post up. So when you put all those into equation, man, it's being around the game and learning all the X's and O's and learning little tidbits from different coaches and strategies and techniques and defenses and mixing it up, playing zone a couple possessions or playing boxing one and different stuff. And you're like, coaches like to mix up all these things, and the same thing offensively. I've seen some plays where I'm like, I don't even know how you can guard certain plays that teams run, like even high school. Some teams have so many there's so many different ways that you can get open and get open shots and get layups and get post ups. Especially in the NBA, when you throw a guy that's 300 pounds or a guy that's 275, you're not stopping a Jokic or Embiid from getting to where they want to get to if you're not 300 or 315 pounds. Or certain guards, if somebody like Jokic screens a certain guard that's guarding him, you can't get through the screen. You know what I mean? Hopefully you can switch, but the game is, it's look at it deep. Like when I'm breaking the game down, watching with somebody, they like, man, I never looked at the game that way.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, when you're around it 24/7 and you have to scout and do scouting reports and you see all these different plays for all these different players, you look at the game, you analyze timeouts different, how much rest teams are getting, when the stars come out, when they go back in the game. You look at all these things. It's like, hey, LeBron's going to sit probably to the 7-minute mark. If he goes in any time before that, I'll be surprised because he's probably going to get tired, especially playing against like a Golden State Warriors team. So you look at all these things, and it's like.
So now I'd love to have all that information before I make a wager, right?
Sometimes it don't work like that. Sometimes
I understand,
it can be
but
a
I'm just
perfect
saying,
matchup.
yeah.
The whole team can be hurt. And it's like, oh, Damian Lillard's going to have 70 tonight. And he goes out and he's 26 points. And it's like, how do you not score 30 against a team without all their point guards and shooting guards? But That's just sometimes the game. Sometimes teams might trap him every time, and he has to pass the ball. You don't know that, you know.
Well, John, as gamblers, we'd like some of that information, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, but if you look at it, if you look at a team that, let's say they have a 15-point lead at halftime,
Yeah.
that's why the odds makers, even though they outscored them by 15 in the first half, the odds makers always set the line at like even,
Yeah.
or they set it at -1 or -2 for the team that's down 15, because the thinking is they're going to get back in the game. So
Yeah. No, I mean, it's happened enough times where I'm,
yeah,
I get it, but I don't get it, right?
Yep.
I guess I don't get a professional team giving up 20 points. I always think, especially if they're evenly matched,
yeah,
right?
yeah. But I mean, in the regular season, it's just totally different, though. There's lots of things that outside of being evenly matched. Are they bringing it tonight versus other nights? Are they?
I just have to interrupt because I'm.
Yeah, whatever you got.
This has become a big problem with Memphis.
Oh, the Memphis
Turnovers.
Tigers are in a. They're in a
Turnovers.
barn burner here with the Wichita State Shockers.
Turnovers.
Well,
They
yeah,
had- they
you got
played-
complete breakdown of like,
Yeah,
they
they got
played
9
Temple.
turnovers. Hey, Kendrick Davis has made an appearance.
Oh, he did.
Yep.
Oh,
Hardaway brought him in the game.
not helping right now because
They
we've got
they 9
almost 10 turnovers. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
but-
he might have brought him in
okay,
after the turnovers.
but
They
it's-
had 24 turnovers against the Owls a couple weeks ago.
it's a tie game, basically.
Yeah,
40,
but
30. Is
yeah,
that
but they've
halftime?
given up 40 points to Wichita in the first half.
yeah.
That's
They
first.
got
Is
6
Is it
points off
halftime?
turnovers. They got 9 turnovers. That's a lot.
Yeah, and Wichita probably
And
has
Memphis,
10
that's
points
been-
out of those 9 turnovers. off
That's
of
been a
turnovers.
that's been a theme this year for the Tigers is turnovers and taking care of the ball. It's just it's frustrating to watch them sometimes. And you look at this. This is a bad Wichita State team that 9 turnovers and you're down 1 point.
Yep. The first time
Take care of the ball, you win the game easily.
Yep. Memphis.
They should be up 10, but
Yeah, Memphis beat them by 10 the first time.
yeah,
Controlled the game the whole way. 36-30 in the first half.
13 turnovers
13
the entire
turnovers for
game.
the whole game last time they played Wichita.
And they got 9
They got
at
9
halftime.
at the half, folks.
Well, you
so,
can get 120 to 1 on Memphis
To win it.
sure
to
you
win
can.
to win it all.
Don't worry, when I leave after this
Are you
is
gonna make
done,
a bet on
I'm
them?
gonna
Of
put a
course
couple
you have
bucks
to,
on.
right?
I have to.
I'm
yeah.
gonna see what Arizona State is. I'm
Sure
gonna
you
find them
can.
in here. They're probably some
I'll put a couple
ridiculous
bucks
odds.
on my alma mater.
Yeah, I mean, I got to do
What's
it too.
Clemson at?
Here, I'll find them.
200 to 1.
No, I'll find them. Here, they are.
They're not that bad.
No, not at all.
They're
200 to 1,
20 to
20 to 1.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
plus
they-
20,000.
Huh?
They're plus 20,000.
Yeah.
That's 200 to 1.
1. 200 to 1. That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said 20 to 1.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
200 to 1.
Yeah, 200 to 1.
Yeah.
That's not a bad little score.
But it's not going to happen, David. There's a reason it's 200 to 1.
Lightning could strike.
David loves these plus 200.
I'm not taking it.
dogs.
You guys, we talked on a break.
Well-
Like, who you guys like to win it all? You guys are both on Houston. It's plus 6.5 to 1.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all right. The number 1 seed, they'll be a
Yeah,
number 1
they
seed.
opened. So yeah,
They opened
Houston
it plus
the
6
year
double.
at 16 to 1.
Yeah.
They're currently 6.5 to 1. They're the favorite. 16 to 1 was good value at the beginning of the year, honestly. You knew who Houston had coming back. They had a deep run, lost a game to Villanova in the tournament. Kansas opened at 12 to 1. Kansas 8 to 1.
Marquette is I've read a couple articles. They started plus 16,000 before the season, and now they're only plus 3,000.
They're 160 to 1. Now they're 30
Yeah,
to
30
1.
to 1.
Yeah, Marquette's been playing good. Marquette had a good win against Creighton at Creighton. Not an easy place to go win a game. So Marquette wins a game at Creighton the other day.
What's Creighton? Because they're always
I'll
a good
look it up.
tournament team.
All right, let's
Yep.
see. Oh, here
They might
they're,
have a
they're
good
plus
record.
3,000 also.
Yeah, they're 30 to
Wow.
1 also, open at
31.
50 to 1.
Yeah.
So
That means they've been winning and they're doing better if
Yep.
that line dropped like
Yep.
that, huh?
Yep.
What about UCLA? They're 13 to 1 right now. 14
yeah,
to 1.
they're going to be up there. I mean, I'm not buying any. I'll tell you who I'm not buying, David. We'll
Alabama?
spin it out quick. I can't buy Bama with their current situation. I mean, we don't even know if Brandon Miller's going to be on the team or not. And if Brandon Miller ain't on that team, you can hang it up.
And the NCAA hadn't really stepped in yet either, right?
No.
There's the odds.
Yeah. Alabama's sitting at 9 to 1, but I'm not going to have any part of Alabama. I don't think I'm going to have. I don't know. I'm going to wait and see on Houston.
How do you know it's 9 to 1 plus 900?
Yeah,
Okay.
9 to 1, 8 to 1, then
30 to 1.
14. It's
Okay,
14 to 1.
okay.
Gonzaga. Where's Gonzaga?
30 to 1.
30 to 1. That's some good value on Gonzaga. Drew Timmy's a solid player.
Where is Gonzaga? Is that
Terrible.
New York?
No, Washington.
Very
Washington.
overrated.
That's what I mean.
Spokane,
Spokane,
Washington.
Washington. Yeah, that's right.
Very
The Fighting
overrated.
John Stocktons.
The Fighting
The
John.
Fighting John
Yeah,
Stocktons. Yep.
I should know that. I don't know why I didn't know that. I did know that.
Murray State.
Yep.
500.
Now,
I can't find ASU. I'm gonna have to find ASU on there. It's like, but
yeah, they're
Probably not
151.
on
yeah,
there.
probably. Yeah. What's Mizzou?
Mizzou will be up there. Keep going.
What, is Illinois gonna make? Illinois is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Illinois is 75 to 1.
That's not horrible.
Mizzou was right
Arkansas
there.
55 to 1.
Mizzou was.
That's Iowa. You probably
Oh, there's
saw.
Mizzou. Right there. 150 to 1.
150 to 1.
Yeah.
Well, they are really
They open at
inconsistent.
60 to 1.
They are really inconsistent.
Very inconsistent.
Yeah.
They
Fun
basically.
to watch when they're good. when
Yeah,
they're
they're
playing
just, they're like pinballs, man. They love to move up down the floor real quick. Love to go fast. Don't play much defense. In my opinion, don't move the ball offensively enough to play as a team to kind of really do what they need to night in and night out. But they can go out and get you 2 or 3 good-looking wins for sure, like they did against Tennessee.
What about Arizona? 14 to 1.
Yeah, Arizona's going to be up there. Arizona's tough. Wouldn't surprise anybody if Arizona makes the Final Four. A lot of this, though, guys, is going to depend on what the brackets are looking like. Like,
Yeah.
how tough is Arizona's bracket going to be versus Kansas' bracket, Houston's bracket? So how are these brackets going to be looking? Baylor's a tough team, sitting at 19 to 1. They opened at 22 to 1.
They're always
Opened the
tough.
year at 22 to 1. Baylor's going to be tough.
I like UConn.
I'm not buying UConn.
You're not. No, you're not.
No, they've been struggling too late. I bought them early January, but if you get them out of Stores, Connecticut, they're a different team, and they're not going to be playing any tournament games at Stores, Connecticut. So Texas 23 to 1. Texas, it's a team. They fired Chris Beard after he had that domestic violence thing. So they fired Chris Beard. Everybody thought they were going to fall off the face of the earth when they fired the coach. But they've been hanging in there strong. Texas has been strong too. One surprise if they make maybe a Sweet 16 run, but I ain't buying them after that. Tennessee, everybody just has this feeling that it's going to be Rick Barnes off again. Here comes
Yeah.
Tennessee sitting at a 2 seed, a 1 seed, a 3 seed,
Yeah.
and then losing in the Sweet 16 again.
So funny you say that. Noah Van Bree, who him and I did March Madness every morning on the radio, and he kept on worrying about the coach, right? The coach
Sure, Rick Barnes has
Yeah,
a history.
has
of
a
doing
history of doing it. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, can't trust Tennessee.
Yeah, it's hard to trust them. Gonzaga's just decent value at 30 to 1. Marquette's 30 to 1 as well. Here's another 30 to 1 that I really like. I'm surprised they're 30 to 1. They're getting healthy now, and they beat Kansas by about 20, and that's TCU.
The Horned
TCU.
Frog.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Frogs.
Horned Frog.
The Frogs are going to be sitting there.
You're familiar with them.
Yeah, they went to the national
We used to
championship.
be.
in
We used to
football.
play them. We used to play them when I was in college.
What's
Oh, you
that?
did? Memphis played them?
Yeah, we used to play them every year. Basically.
Let's
Or-
see.
Oh, go ahead.
What conference was Memphis in when you were there?
Conference USA.
Conference USA. That's right. Okay.
Earl,
And TCU.
Earl, are you playing it all these days?
No,
No?
I keep seeing people that's like, you play, and there's a rec center in Wentzville that everybody's like, hey, you should come in the morning. But they play like 6:30 in the morning. I'm like, I
Yeah.
want to play, but I don't know if I want to play that bad.
Yeah,
But then
6 a.m.
they have some guys that say they play also in the afternoon. So I'm gonna start going up there and start getting.
Are there any leagues you can get into? I mean,
I don't know
are they
if they'll
competitive
allow
enough
me.
for you? Seriously, are they
Yeah,
competitive enough for
I'm
you?
sure. Yeah. Some
Yeah.
of the guys can. You can get up and down, and you can score 1-on-1. You can go hoop. Just don't come my way if I'm standing there.
But that's my
I'm gonna
point.
try my best.
Is it competitive for you?
Yeah, I mean,
It's enough, right?
It's enough. It's
Yeah.
enough. It's
Yeah.
fun. It's just when you get guys that can't hoop at all, that they don't understand about like some fouls and certain things. It's just like now you're not playing basketball. Now you're playing football. Now that's when the game can get ugly, and you're going for blocks when you can't jump over a phone book. But a guy's clearly going in for a dunk or a layup, and you're just undercutting and doing all those things. So I kind of don't go too hard when I play unless I'm playing with guys that have played college basketball, have played at a certain level, because I understand, like, you go to the YMCA, guys don't understand the concept of injury or a dirty play. It's just like, I'm not letting you score. It's like, dude, you just grabbed me out of the air and almost broke my neck,
Right.
Well, you don't have me, who is 100% shooter and is,
Oh,
you know,
gosh.
2 for
43
2.
seconds.
Yeah, I'm just saying. My high school career. My
Okay.
high school career. You just don't have me.
Okay.
All right, that was enough. All right, nobody wants to hear that. All right, so what about Coach Earl? What's on the agenda? What's
Right
in the
now,
future?
I am assistant coach at Francis Howell. We won 5 games in a row. We beat Troy and we beat Fort Zumwell South. There's so many north, east, south, west in this city. I don't
Right.
know all these schools, but we got a number 2 seed in our district, and we start. I think we start next week, maybe. So we win 4 games. We're in Springfield.
Nice.
Yeah.
Looking
Playoffs.
forward to it,
Playoffs.
you know.
Little high school
I was
playoff
a
basketball,
little
folks.
questionable at first
Yeah.
because we were losing to teams that we shouldn't have. We won some games to teams that we should have beat, but we lost a lot of close games. But now, the last couple games we played have been really, really good teams that nobody expected us, especially Troy. We beat Troy at Troy, and they're a really good team. They got a lot of good players, well coached, disciplined, but you know, we've been showing a lot of toughness. We've been, got a lot of guys making shots and, rebounding. Like certain things I tell them, like, hey, as a big, you crash every single time. You'll get 2 to 3 offensive rebounds a game
That you wouldn't have otherwise.
that you wouldn't get if you just assume that somebody else is gonna get it, or I want to get back on defense. Like, no, every time somebody shoots, crash, and I tell my guys, hey, I don't want you leaking out. If I work with you and you're inside that 3-point line, you crash every
Let the
time.
other
You
four
make it
guys
a
leak
habit.
out.
You make it a habit, and they're starting to listen. They're starting to buy into what I'm saying, and we've been winning. We got a couple coaches that are that have been around that are able to help them, but once they start listening, you start seeing it working, and sometimes you do something, and they'll look at you and smile like, we worked on that a couple of days ago. You can
So
see
I always
that.
wonder, someone like you that with your, obviously your knowledge and your history,
Yeah.
and coming in, I was curious, like the coach that's there, is that a little intimidating for them, or
I just try to be just be humble and let them know, like, look, I'm not trying to step on any toes. I'm not trying to big time anybody. I'm just trying to share my experience to help you and to help these kids, and coach that understand that and respect that they're willing to listen fully and just appreciate the knowledge and the X's and O's and all the different things that I've been through that helped me in my career, because I wasn't drafted. I wasn't a all state and all that stuff. I was honorable mention, but what I did was work hard, train hard, try to learn from many people as possible. And what I tell people is most improved is one of my favorite awards. I got most improved in high school a couple times. I got most improved in college a couple times. And I feel like that's more important to me than an MVP or all these different things. It's like, hey, I'm getting better. I'm working. Like, I'm getting better and better and better. And all these other guys who were Mr. Basketball and stuff, by the time I left college,
Yeah, where are
like,
they
where
now?
are these guys now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was a bum. I used to look up to these guys like, man, that dude's averaging 30. He's nice. And then,
Yeah, those guys quit working now. They're on the Netflix documentary. Where are you now?
hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard.
Absolutely.
oh, that makes sense.
Like that one.
Yep.
Huh?
Right.
That was a. That
So I better work really hard.
Hard work
Which
beats
I do.
talent when
Which
talent
I
don't
do.
work hard. So.
So
Yeah, that was that. Wasn't that the name of a 30 for 30 documentary?
No idea.
Marcus Dupree, the running back for Oklahoma back in the day.
Yeah.
I think it was. It was
I
where
know exactly
are
what you're talking about.
where are they now?
Where are they
Yeah,
now?
that's what happened. Is these all state, all conference basketball players in high school? They stopped working. And
Well, I wanted to
that's
say
it for
that
them.
we've had last year we had Pat Perry. He's a left-hander. He used to pitch for the St. Louis Cardinals, right? He's pitched for several teams in the majors, and his son is being coached. Both his sons are being coached by somebody else. And I always ask him, it's because he coaches his sons, but not when they're in school. He, on the side, he works with them afterwards or before. And I guess I always wondered why, if you have access to people who have been there, why wouldn't you use? And I asked Pat the same thing. I said, why wouldn't I'd use every outlet I could to help improve the team?
Yeah.
And I guess I think sometimes it's ego,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And like you
of course.
said, is it step? Maybe not. If you're just there to help,
Yeah.
right? You're not there to push
Yeah.
anybody out.
Yeah.
You just want to help.
I mean,
I guess it's different for each individual, but I think it's great that I'm sure you're having a blast doing it, right?
It's fun, but like when I got here, I wanted to get into the basketball world of St. Louis, whether it's University of St. Louis, Lindenwood, good high schools, AU, whatever it may be. But I think high school is a space now where I know they're listening, I know they're learning, I know they're understanding. I've had parents come up to me and thank me and tell me what their son said to me, and those kind of things mean more to me
Yeah.
than anything. But you know, I've applied for jobs and been told, no, we're not hiring. I'm like, what do I have to do? What do I got to do to get on the staff? You know what I mean? Like, I think I know what I'm talking about,
That's funny.
but I'm gonna pay my dues, and eventually something to come up. I don't. It's just like making a team. You're not gonna make every team. You're gonna get cut, but if you stick with it and you keep working hard, you'll make somebody's team. Regardless if they say you're not gonna make it or not. Like I said, I've been there and done that where people say, hey, you make a little money for per diem and you get to play preseason, but they've already got this team locked up. And then when you get there, you're like, I think I can beat out this guy and that guy. I'm just gonna keep on grinding this out. And sure enough, when it's time to get those cuts, you're like, please don't call me. Please don't be me. Please don't be me. And then you see that guy walking with the DM, you're like, uh-oh, it might be him. And then it's like, hey, come here. Congratulations. You made the team. So, you know, I'm feeling confident that I just keep on grinding it out. That like I said, whether it's college or getting my own head coaching job, I'm gonna pay my dues, and
So where do you
my
want to
time will
take it?
come.
Where are you looking
I
to
want
take?
to get back into, hopefully, get back into the NBA, whether it's just player development, coaching back in the D League, possibly get back into a head coaching role. But I want to get back as an assistant somewhere where I can learn from a head coach that's been around for a while, because it's a lot to go on with schedules and timing and recruiting and all those different things. So
Yeah.
I don't know anything about those things, but I do know the game of basketball. I do know the X's and O's. I know how to train, how to get your body right. Preparing for training camps and two-a-days and all those things. Like, I've been there and I've seen guys that weren't prepared, and I made it one of my number one priorities is to make sure my shot was right, my body was right, my mind was right going into wherever camp I went into. So I
As far
think
as
that's,
coaching goes, you spent a little time right afterwards with the Pacers, right?
yeah.
And so
With the
what did you do
Pacers,
with them?
with the Pacers, I did video coordinator and player development. So I would do uh, drills for guys before practice or after practice, where we work on ball handling. We might do some one-on-one moves, some shooting, some spot shooting. Maybe throw a game in there to make it fun. Uh, Maybe guard them. Sometimes play one. Depends on who the player was. Uh, so it was rehabbing. I had to guard him one day and a couple of days in practice. So he kind of liked it because I didn't let him. I literally was trying. He's a big dude, strong dude, but you know, technique and a lot of things, we would play games to 5. So if I got 5 stops, I won. If he got 5 buckets, he won. So a lot of times it would be like 3-1, and he'd be pissed because here this coach is, and he can't score. You know what I mean? But eventually he got pissed off, and he just started, dropping that shoulder and making good moves. He's a really talented player, but I enjoy those kind of things. Guys say, hey coach, I want to, tomorrow can we, meet up at 12? I want to get some work in. When guys come to you, they could go to anybody else, but that means that you're doing something that they enjoy and they're getting something out of it. So
Would that
it,
kind of role interest you
absolutely,
again?
yeah.
Yeah.
The X's and O's, the video. You look at the Eric Spoelstra. That's where he started. You got to start somewhere. So, uh, I'm just like I said, man. Just pay my dues. Keep reaching out, and every time I see something open, I'm applying. Whether it's Lindenwood, St. Louis University, and also I talked to a guy in Memphis the other day about broadcasting, and he told me to reach out to because
I'd
a
love to
lot of
hear
these
you
colleges,
break down a
yeah,
game
a
like
lot
Yeah, a
you
of
were
lot
these
of these
earlier,
colleges
right?
colleges are going.
are thing that I'm going to reach to and see. You know, I might have to trap. I don't know if I have to do like the
But
Grizzlies games or whatever.
when you talk about broadcasting, you want to be the analyst. So you call the game, or
Yeah,
they're two
sit
different?
or up halftime and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Even Kendrick Perkins, like you see those guys and expect it from somebody that played the game and can speak. You know what I mean? And you can throw your own little flair in there, throw a little joke in here to show your personality. But I just enjoy the game so much that whether it's X's and O's, teaching,
Yeah.
but if I can do somewhere I don't have to travel as much as far as traveling with the team and doing all these different things, that's something that I would enjoy because I don't want to be back into that spot where fly somewhere on Monday, play the game, fly back Tuesday night, Thursday morning you wake up, do da 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 da. Friday morning you're flying here, going there, play the game, flying to another city on Sunday. Like that gets kind of
Sounds like a good scout would be a lot of
with
travel
that too.
also,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But I've also met people who've scouted and do like regional. So like scout for Texas, and all you do is Spurs, Mavs, Rockets games. And you just do
I
all
didn't know
those.
you could work for different teams.
No, like you
No,
might
it's
be
not.
working for the Mavs, but
Oh,
you just
okay.
do
Oh,
like
I got you. I
you
got
know.
you. Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's a lot of options out there. It's just a matter of you know finding my niche, and like I said, everything is new to me, and then just trying to find my niche, whether it's salesman or
Yeah.
whatever it may be. But
Right. Well,
Getting back
I just
around.
want to be
the
back
good
on the
news is
basketball.
you can take your time and pick what you want. If you don't like it,
Yeah,
you move on to the next
absolutely.
one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good spot to be. I've
Yeah.
learned,
All
right?
my boys are like, man, you should go on, and you'll be a hell of a because I'm a neat freak. I'm OCD about certain things, and I like structure. I like fundamentals. I don't like to skip A and go to C. Like if you skipping A and B, you're already screwed. So by the time you get to F,
Yeah.
you still need A and B to get to progress, and whether it's team or individual, you have to start with the basics. Whether it's passing, dribbling, like some guys make one-handed passes, and it's like nonchalant. It's like, dude, every time you do that, you turn the ball over. And I had coaches that it was important, two hands, everything. Every time we did one hand, it was a run. Every time you try to be cool and catch it with one hand, get on the line. So it's like you miss out on those basic fundamentals. And if you introduce guys and they started doing it, every pass is two hands, cut down on turnovers, and it gets into their mind like it becomes repetition. Just like anything, you know what I mean?
So, I mean, I don't know if it is basketball. Obviously, is probably your first love, right? I mean, could you take these and maybe coach a different sport? You could take the fundamentals and probably coach a different sport
I
if
don't
you
know.
wanted. No, maybe. I don't know. I was just curious.
I don't
You
know.
got other loves, right? You like football. You like
I like football. I like tennis. You know what I
tennis.
mean? Yeah,
I love tennis.
but
In fact, you can bet on tennis. I
really,
love it even more. Table
yeah.
tennis, you can bet on ping pong.
Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you,
You
Russell.
can
We're
bet
not
on
going to
Call
get
of Duty. You know that?
Call of Duty.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
You can bet on
esports,
Call of Duty.
right?
That's insane. XFL. You can bet on anything
Are you a
now.
That's
video
all
game?
there.
You're a video game guy.
A little bit.
All there
Not
was
like
during COVID was betting on cat
Esports.
simulations.
And you want to say something before? I always wonder. John has unbelievable wealth of knowledge when it comes to college sports. He knows about probably a
everything.
little bit about every sport, right? But when it comes to college sports, I've never seen anybody like John.
Yeah.
And I always wondered, for you, is coaching? Why aren't you coaching even on the high school level? It seems like you would love that part of it. I don't know. Maybe not any. Have you ever thought about that?
I would.
Just your knowledge of
He's
how a
like,
game's
Yeah, I mean, I would
how you
mind
break
it,
down
but
how
I
you
don't
break down
have.
a game, right?
Yeah.
How he breaks down a game and his knowledge of
Scoring and
yeah.
runs and all
I
Yeah,
mean,
but I don't have any. It's not a passion for me.
okay,
Yeah,
all
it's
right,
not
that's
a.
all. I'm done.
Just like you, I
I mean, I
understand where you're
understand the
coming
game. I
from.
could do it if I had to, but
But
it's
like
not a
these guys that
passion.
I watch on podcasts that can break down the NBA slate and da 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 da, and then you probably ask the same thing like, hey, all the the lineup, the roster, how many minutes, how many points they play, their game, their flow, their style, how they are on defense. Some of those guys probably could be good coaches, but their passion is they love to talk about fantasy or they talk about college basketball or college football, whatever it may be. So I kind of feel where you're coming from, but a
Yeah.
lot of those guys, it's just like that's their love, that's their passion, and they don't really like. Probably John is like, nah, I'm cool on the coaching. I'd rather just
Yep.
talk about it.
Well,
Do
it's
it.
as I go through, I'm a little bit older than you guys, but I'm not old. What I wanted to get into is for me is like it's the same way with horse racing for
Yeah.
me, right? And the more I get involved, and the more the doors have opened for me in that industry just through this in the last few years,
Yeah.
makes me even want to be more part of it. And obviously, my end game is, obviously, this show, and also I'd like
Horse
to do
racing.
horse racing specifically. Like to be as an analyst myself.
Yeah.
Like I'd be like to be calling
Talk,
not calling the races, but calling doing the handicapping
yeah.
pre-race, right?
And I'll just
And
be
being an
there
analyst.
sitting there like I don't know what's going on.
I'll just send you the number.
I'll just be sliding
Earl?
you popcorn and
That's
you want
it.
another bottle of water? Here you go.
We got plenty of time, but there's there's time. I'd love to take you out of town and
Absolutely.
go to a really nice
wanna go.
racetrack. And
Yeah.
I don't know where you've been. I know you've been to Churchill Downs, but I think Earl would like
I
Churchill
would love
Downs.
to go
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah?
Anywhere
There's
with
not
a
too many
nice
people I've ever
racetrack.
been with that doesn't like Churchill Downs, David.
So
Yeah.
you can have your beer, bet sports, or whatever you want to do,
Mhm.
and I'll just feed you numbers and pray we hit.
Yeah.
I don't want to go
I
over.
hope
I
David
went
knows what he's
over
talking about.
Sunday. I went over last Sunday, and I didn't even come close. Saturday, I couldn't miss.
Wow.
It just goes like that sometimes,
Yeah.
right? Just in any kind of gambling.
Yeah.
But Saturday like, makes you wonder, like all that work that goes into it, of time invested in your handicap, and oh my god, this is the way it's supposed to come out. You see it like how it's supposed to happen. Like I can tell you what horse is going to be on the lead, what this horse is going to be sitting second, third, fourth, and then Sunday, like maybe that's happening, but they're not holding on, or it's just all I can tell you is that I get it from the horse racing aspect. It's like I being an analyst, I totally get it. You want to
Yeah.
talk about what you know, right? And what you follow.
Yeah.
Right. So is there anybody that you like to follow, that you like to listen and watch? I'm just curious, when it comes to basketball, who do you like to listen to? You said podcasts. I'm curious.
Probably like Jason Williams. Like
Yeah.
podcast or no? Not,
Yeah,
I'm just talking
podcasts
about
and
like
TV.
ESPN first pick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
In general, who
I
do you like?
Jason
I
Williams.
think
I
Jason
like
Williams is a good
I
guy.
like Jalen Rose. You know what I
Well,
mean?
me and Jalen Rose has been on a little
I like
what is that
Jalen
called?
Rose.
Sabbatical.
Yeah.
When
Are
like
you in a
you're
tiff with
I've
Jalen
been in
Rose?
a
I
tiff
like
with him
Richard Jefferson.
for 2
Richard
years.
Jefferson
2
is
years.
good.
I like Richard Jefferson.
Richard
Yeah,
Jefferson. I like Richard Jefferson.
he's messing with the referee circuit.
Yeah, he
The
loves it.
referee
He likes it.
Jefferson.
He likes it. Yeah.
Referee
Kendrick
Richard
Perkins
Jefferson.
he's a little different, but Kendrick
I like
has a
Kendrick.
different perspective of the
He
game. You know what I
does.
mean?
I like Kendrick.
He's won championships. He's been around a long time.
What about
so
Charles?
I like Charles too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like
I
Charles.
like Charles. I like Shaq. I like, you know what I mean? Kenny. I like all those guys.
Is Shaq really that funny? He seems very
Shaq-
entertaining.
Shaq
Entertaining to
Shaq
be
is
around.
a
Well,
like I told you, I was
The
next
Clipper
to Shaq
story.
for
You
2
heard
years.
you heard the Clipper
I
story.
shared a
man.
locker next to him. Not shared a locker, but his locker
got
was right next
I
to
got you.
mine for 2 years. So I got to see like he's just a silly, goofy guy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
He'll get naked and start dancing with people.
That's funny.
The ticket guy walk in. Anybody need tickets, and he'll just grab them.
I mean, he's a big dude,
He's a big
right? He's a big dude.
dude.
I don't think I want him on me
No.
naked.
He's
I don't
funny,
want him
man.
laying on me dressed.
He's funny, man. He's funny. But I can say that they didn't make me do any kind of like rookie hazing or
Yeah, that's what I was
anything.
gonna
So all I
ask
had
you,
to do
yeah.
was carry their shoes and their practice gear. But the only
Wait
thing
a second, they made you do that?
about the shoes was I had to carry a 23 and 2 18s along with practice gear. So every morning I had to carry all this stuff and put it at their door. All
Every
the centers,
morning?
every day for practice. I had
Okay.
to carry all the center stuff. But the shoes, all their shoes were like 40 pounds a piece. But man, they never made me do anything crazy. I think Jason Williams told me a funny story when he was in SAC. I can't remember exactly who his vet was, but they made him get donuts and coffee. And he's like, I want it first thing in the morning. I want a newspaper. I want a Wall Street Journal. I want a USA Today. And he was like, all right, cool. He said he went and got all that stuff, and he was knocking on the dude's door at 5 a.m. And the dude answered the door. He said, here go your donuts and your coffee. He said, you know what? You don't ever got to get nothing else from me again. He's like, you sure? He's like, man, look, you're good. You're good. And he said after that, he said
Really?
he never had any kind of like rookie. They make rookies get bags off the bus in Utah and the blizzards and stuff.
So what happens if you don't do it?
Good luck.
Yeah?
You know what I mean? Good. I mean, it's
Does
fun
that
to be
happen?
around. Oh, absolutely. Like they can make your life hell, and you're around these guys. You know, they can practice. They can f you up every day, every day in practice. They could make you sit on the back of the plane. You know what I mean? Take your food, not let you eat. You last one to eat. There's a lot of things that they can do that make simple stuff fun.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I got to work out at 8. Nah, you're going to wait till 9. I'm finna work out. You're going to wait till 9. Nothing you can do about it. You going to fight them? Good luck. So, nah, man.
That sounds fantastic.
It's fun, man. It's good times, man. Good times. I
That
got
sounds-
lucky, man. I had a lot of all-stars and a lot of vets that, you know, they've been there and done that, and they were like, you know what? You work hard. You do everything we ask you. We're not going to make you do no stupid stuff, you know? So they would be like, you want to go to dinner? I was like, yeah. You want to go out? Yeah, you know?
So what about this crazy stuff you hear, and maybe you experienced this or not or seen it, but making the rookies pay for like these dinners?
yeah.
How can you afford that? I mean,
depends
you
on
got
where
these
you're
guys
at and how
making
many people.
20, 30 million a
But
year.
you get it back. You get it back because, say, if we went out to eat right now and we go out to eat, 3-4 times a month throughout the year, and you making all the money, you might make me pay this one time, but the other 10, you know, you'll probably pay. Or John might chip in and pay one time. But in the end of the day, it's kind of like you see it and you're like, man, I ain't paying this. And they're like, oh, you're not going to pay it? And I'm like, all right, here you go. There you go.
I mean, I can
And then
imagine
they'll be like,
it's got to be $2,000-$3,000 we're talking
I
about.
paid a
here.
bill one time. I got to the restaurant, and a teammate of mine was two teammates, and it was two girls there. And they had a good time. They had shot glasses on the table. It was a super expensive restaurant on the beach. And I'm going in like, cause we're finna go out. So I walk in. I'm like, yeah, we finna go out. It's like, you want a drink? I said, yeah, I'll take what y'all drinking. I'll take a shot of Patron. Yeah, let's go. I'm ready. Where we going tonight? And they was like, you got to get that bill before we leave. I said, my bill? He said, nah, the whole bill. I said, and I'm looking at the place. I know they got steak. They got all these glasses of wine. I was like, man, I'm gonna start doing the math in my head. So they brought the check out. I said, woo. It was like 1,800. I was like, man. Like they said, it's a problem. I said, nah, ain't no problem.
Ain't no
man.
problem.
I got it. And so they was like, we'll pay the tip. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll do it. But the next weekend when you go out, it's like, I got it, Rook. You know what I mean? It's just teamwork. You know what I mean?
All right. That's
You pay your dues on the court, and you showing that you got a good work ethic, and you work hard, and you're a good person, good dude. They pay it back. But you definitely got to get that. I just try to avoid the credit card game when it's groups of
right.
15, when it's whole teams. Like training camp, a lot of teams go out to eat to steakhouses or PF Chang's or whatever it may be that a group collectively we agree on, and they always never fail. It's the credit card game, and so I'm just like, especially when I was in the league, it wasn't a big deal, but when I was in and out of the league where I wasn't making as much money as I was making on a regular basis, and I knew it was gonna be coming in, I'm like, I don't know if I want to pay $3,000
Right.
tonight,
Right.
But I never forget one day when I was in New Orleans, we went to a restaurant and we were sitting there and we were eating the whole team. All the guys there was there for training camp and stuff, and we had nice dinner. My meal probably was 50, $60. I got the appetizers, I got me a drink, I had food, I had dessert. So I was like, whoo, I got my $60 ready to pay for my food. And they like, all right, we're doing the credit card game. I was like, man, I'm out. I was like, no. And it's like, no, everybody's
What's
in.
the credit card game?
Oh, you don't know this?
You put your
Oh,
either
yeah.
put your credit card in a hat or you give it to a waiter and they put it in here and they pull out cards. The last
who-
one has to pay.
Yeah.
So we did it in I think I was with the Hornets back when they were the Hornets. I don't know if anybody remember they were the New Orleans Hornets.
Yeah, the New Orleans Hornets. Chris Paul was there.
Stojakovic was there.
Yep.
So Chris Paul was basically like, yeah, everybody, we're doing the credit card game. And they brought the bill out. And when we were finna pull the cards, Chris Paul was like, it's like Peja walked in. Peja Stojakovic walked in. I'll never forget. And he was like, oh, man, we ain't got to pay for it. Peja got it. He was being sarcastic. And Peja started laughing. He's like, yeah, send the bill over to me. And so Chris Paul was like, man, we were just joking. He was like, no, I got it. And I was like, yeah, I like Peja.
I like this
Peja,
guy,
man. I don't
man.
care what they say about Peja. You my
I like
man.
this
You my
guy.
man.
Now the
So,
coaches with you, everybody, or no?
just the players.
just the players? Yeah.
Sometimes as a team we would go out, but if we ever went out as a team, it would always be, already be paid for.
Okay, that's nice. I just can't imagine going to a fancy steakhouse and
Oh,
having
man.
it for 15
15
people.
people.
Especially, I don't care if you're making league minimum.
It's a
That's
lot.
I mean, that could be $10,000 for
Yeah.
one meal.
30,
How do you
know,
explain that one to your other half,
50,
right?
60,
Yeah.
$60 steaks,
Yeah,
a couple $20 sides,
yeah,
$30 glass,
Drinks.
$20 glass of wine.
right.
That's
15
$100
people.
a person,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
minimum, right?
minimum. And then you
Yeah.
take into account the people that want to drink 2 or 3 drinks. I want 2 beers and 2 glasses of wine and a shot and a steak and a potato and a dessert. Like that's $200.
So when you guys are on the road, I'm just curious: are you guys always together, or you do whatever you want?
Just depends, man. A lot of times, like when I would go to Memphis, I would find out what guys were doing, but I would already have an itinerary. Like, hey, my buddy's picking me up. We're going here to eat. We're going to go to this bar. We'll get something to eat. And then eventually, back when I was younger, we were like, hey, we're going to go to this club. And a lot of guys would be like, well, we'll be there. We'll see you there. So it just depends on who guys were. And then certain guys would be like, hey, we're all going to go to dinner. You want to go? 4 of us might go to dinner and then go to a dive bar or a nice club and have some drinks, hang out. Or y'all two might do something. We might do something. Or I might be like, man, I'm going to the movies. I'm going to the movies. I want to come back and watch. I want to go watch whatever.
Right.
Avatar. You know what I mean? I want to go watch
We talked.
Avatar and come back to the room
They came out the second one, right?
yeah. I
Oh,
still,
now that have you seen
3
it?
hours long.
Have you
No,
seen it?
I haven't.
I haven't seen it yet
I haven't
either.
picked out a weekend to watch it yet. 3 hours long. That's a long movie. But
I got one I want you to watch.
what?
It's a
Seabiscuit.
no. That is one of my favorite
I'm joking.
movies, but it's not just because it's horse racing.
It's an
Because it's a
amazing
true
movie.
story,
Yeah.
right? It's based on a
Yeah.
true events. It's called Let It Ride. It's a gambling movie from the 80s, 1989.
Somebody else told me I need to
And
watch
Let It
that
Ride.
movie.
It's with Richard Dreyfuss and Jennifer Tilly, and it is.
Good.
If you want to see what full D-Gen looks like,
Let it
it's
ride.
very funny. It's just
Trust me,
it's an
I've
hour.
seen what Full Gen looks
Yeah,
like. You know,
it's an
I don't
hour.
have to move it. I don't have to watch the
Well,
movie to
it's
know
very
what Full
entertaining. It's
DGen looks
an
like.
hour and a half of your life, Eddie. If you
Really?
get a chance, watch it. It is
Okay.
hilarious, and it's about Richard Dreyfuss. He plays a guy, a cab driver, who has the best day of his life at the racetrack.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let it ride.
It's a fantastic movie, great gambling movie.
See, if I watch something like that, then I'm gonna be calling you. Hey, David, let's go. I want to go to.
We're going. We're
I want to
going.
go to Little Rock.
We
I want to go.
we,
I wanna
we
play
could do
some
that.
bets wherever.
Let's start with Churchill though. Have you ever been
Where's that?
Churchill's
in
closer. isn't it?
Louisville?
Oh, that's
Kentucky
right around the corner.
Yeah. I wonder.
Do you have to go for? Do they have like regular?
Oh yeah, live
outside?
racing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't
All the
go there. I'm
time?
not driving there to watch them on TV.
Louisville. I'm saying like, what's the main one?
Oh, the
Kentucky
Derby?
Derby. That's
Yeah,
at
the
Churchill
first
Downs?
Saturday in May.
That's
Yes.
at Churchill
Yeah,
Downs,
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah. Now this place is so vast and so huge.
Yep.
It's
It's
on
half a
any
day
other
experience.
racing day, they get what 5-10,000 people, and it looks like it's empty because it holds 170,000 people.
Churchill Downs, it's
Yeah.
200,000. They're maxing
Yeah.
it out, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
You ever been for the
for
Kentucky
the Derby, no. I've been for the Breeders' Cup, which is
See, I wouldn't want to go there because I wouldn't know. I wouldn't. I would be the only guy there not dressed appropriately. I have on some jeans and some jeans.
just
and
wear
some
some nice
tennis shoes.
slacks and a shirt.
I know. I'm just.
You know,
talking.
I know.
I'll probably put on a hat and be all goofy looking.
I'm planning on going next year for 150th running of the Kentucky
Whoa,
Derby
okay.
and doing the show
Let's set
from
it
down
up.
there. Yeah.
I'm still in St. Louis. Let's make it a trip.
Let's hope you still are.
Let's write it down. Mark that on the calendar. We're going to Kentucky
Derby.
Derby next year.
Yeah. You'd like to go? Huh? Are you there?
John is focusing on
yeah,
Ohio State right now.
I had to sweat out.
What are we doing
I
here?
tell you,
Sweat
full
out.
DJ. What we just talking
Yeah, I
about?
know, I
Full DJ. I don't
I
have to go
know.
There's some
anywhere.
college basketball games on right now, David.
All right. Well, what do we
So,
got? What do we
Penn
got?
State,
DJ.
Ohio State just ended. I was
Full
all over
DJ.
Penn State.
Did they cover?
Winner.
They winners?
Yes.
Okay. Who's winning the Memphis game?
Let's
go. Let's see what we got.
There's about 30 games going on.
Oh,
I know. Let's go to the
Tigers.
Memphis game.
Oh, Tigers. What are we
Here we-
doing?
Did you pass it?
Hopefully,
don't know. I can't
I'm
see.
sure
I
he
don't know why
cursed
I'm looking.
everybody out at halftime, and they're not going to turn the ball over. But
That was a 3.5 point spread, right?
Yes.
There it is, right
All
there,
right,
right
3
there. They're
points.
winning 12
many
minutes ago.
turnovers?
52-49.
Yeah, 52-49.
Oh, they've cut down on the turnovers too
Yeah.
in the second half.
there we go.
11 minutes to play. A lot of time left. Looks like Kendrick Davis has not made it back on the floor. He's their best player by far.
All right. Well, I want to talk a little bit about NBA fantasy
Let's do
because I
it.
know you like to do that.
I sure do.
Something I've done a couple of times, and man, I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'll be calling you because I
Yeah.
like to play fantasy, especially you like the daily. You like the
I
season
do
long
the
with the
daily.
NFL.
I do the daily.
Okay.
I did the season long once upon a time with some guys in Arizona, and I won because I don't know how I won, but I did the. They had me on auto draft. I missed the draft. I got
Oh,
home late,
okay.
and by the time I thought about it, I was like, "Oh, I got the draft," and I was already in like the third, fourth round. But the guys that picked for me, and it's pretty similar to the NFL draft, fantasy football. They auto pick is not bad. Like if you fall into a situation where you have to do auto pick, it's not a bad thing because it's happened to me in NFL, it's happened to me in NBA, and I've had great teams. But as far as daily fantasy basketball, it's important that football is different as far as injuries goes. But like today, I was going to play Dame Lillard. I was like, Anthony Simons is hurt, Jeremy Grant's out. I'm locking in Dame Lillard. He's going to take all these shots. Guess what happened?
He's going to
Dame
lock him
Lillard
in on the bench.
Dalen Lillard got ruled out for the game. So now you have to play Shannon Sharp, Shade Sharp. You have to play Cam Reddish. You know, these guys are like, hey, they're going to be guaranteed 20, 30, 35 minutes, and they're cheap.
Right.
Dame Lillard.
But is the NBA still doing where 5 minutes before is the injury report? That's what
some teams it's a couple hours before. Some teams it's 15 minutes before. So if you've already got your mind made up that, like me, I was going to play Dame. the news came out a couple hours before, so it's like, all right, I know for sure I'm putting Sharp, Cam Reddish, maybe Eubanks, because they're all cheap, 3,000, 3,500. Like that's a good price for somebody that's going to play 30 minutes. But you can, like a Jason Tatum costs 11,000,
Right.
Embiid costs 11,000,
Yeah.
Jokic costs 11,000. There was one point where Luka cost 13,000.
That's crazy.
So when you try to put these guys in your lineup, you find yourself putting in guys like Doug McDermott or Thomas Bryant. So now you're hoping these guys that are only going to get 20 minutes, 25 minutes come through with good games, as opposed to spreading it out to where you have I might have Jordan Clarkson, De'Aaron Fox, Brandon Clark, and Xavier Tillman as my five, and then you plug in certain guys based on matchups, injury reports, and their cost and value.
So I want to talk about
All
value.
right.
So let's classic or showdown.
Classic.
Okay, let's go to classic. We could still there's
There's
two
a night
games at
slate,
night.
right?
All right, so
Yep,
let's
to the
go
night
here.
slate.
All right, let's
Let's do
go.
us a
Let's
lineup.
just pick one. Okay.
Boom.
All right, here we go. So now we got to start off with how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
It's 8.
6, 7, 8. Okay,
And you got how much? 60, right?
and you got 50,000
50,000. All
at
right.
6,200.
So who's on the slate?
62,500.
So who is the games? What 2 games do we have?
All right. All right. It is Portland and Sacramento,
Boom. So now you got
and Golden State and Lakers.
so Dame Lillard's out. Dame Lillard costs 11,000. Steph Curry's out, costs 10,000. The next available guy is De'Aaron Fox. So with Steph out, you can either pay 9,100 for Jordan Poole, which is expensive, but Jordan Poole is a scoring dependent guard. He's not a guard that's going to get you rebounds, assists, steals, and pat stats like some guards are. Like De'Aaron Fox, he might get you 27, 9, and 5. Jordan Poole is going to get you 33 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so he's very scoring dependent when it comes to fantasy points. So in this spot, you can do D'Angelo Russell at 6,500, which he's going to start for the Lakers tonight, or you can go De'Aaron Fox. But with Lillard out playing against Portland, you got Schroeder, and then when I say value, you have Sharp. Shaedon Sharp is going to play 30-plus minutes in the absence of Damian Lillard. So you want to have him in your lineup. Whatever lineup you put in, it's called chalk. They call this chalk to where everybody's going to play him.
Yeah, I get it.
Everybody's going to play him. No Anthony Simons, no Jeremy Grant, no Damian Lillard. He's a must in your lineup, but you have to decide what position. He has 2 positions, point guard and shooting guard.
Right.
So
That's what I was going to ask you. That's for somebody like me,
yeah,
who doesn't know these things, but wants the action.
yeah.
So I'm
the
gonna
action
be
is-
calling you.
The action is fun, but like I said, you have to wait until after the injury report. So this is
So
all
it could
pretty
be
much
5
set.
minutes before the game.
It could be 10 minutes before the game. There was the other day, the Warriors were resting. Steph was out, Draymond was out, Kevin Looney was out. So everybody had DiVincenzo starting, they had Kuminga starting, they had all their lineups set. And the Warriors rolled out their starters for game time. So all these people that had Ty Jerome and all these people, they basically, their lineup was no good
Yeah.
because so that's important. So we can go down now. We're at small forward. LeBron's in. Do you want to pay 10 grand for LeBron? Very expensive.
Yeah.
Your other options. DiVincenzo's going to start tonight
But
because
even then,
Anthony
it's
Wiggins out.
questionable, right? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of these guys are questionable. Normally they're going to play. So we can go with, we're going to try to get as much value as we can. Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish is going to play too. A must play.
3,600. Cheap.
3,600. Very cheap.
How many minutes
Must
is
play.
he gonna get?
30-plus minutes.
Really?
Minutes equals money in fantasy basketball.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's go to power forward. You don't want Draymond. 7,400 is kind of expensive. You don't want Kamina. You maybe can do Jared Vanderbilt, new addition to the Lakers. Probably going to start, play 25, 30 minutes. Rebounder, scorer. You know what I mean? He'll get you some stats, some blocks, some steals, decent price. And then we get to center. Now you got Anthony Davis,
Now, this
Sabonis.
is where you can spend your money because you've saved
You
money.
want to
in
spend
other-
up. You save money at other spots. We still got 28,000 to go.
Right.
But we already had De'Aaron Fox at point guard. So do you want to do Sabonis and take De'Aaron Fox out and pick Jordan Poole? Because I don't like to do They call it spend ups. I don't want to spend all my money
But
on
you said
two guys.
Jordan Poole's a must.
No, you still got to take into account. There's no Steph.
Okay.
Now there's no Andrew Wiggins tonight. So you got him, Clay, DiVincenzo, Ty Jerome. You have guys, but he's gonna be the main guy.
Okay.
So we can go him, or we can go D'Angelo Russell and save a little more money. Now we got these 3 spots right here. We can pick any guard position: shooting guard, point guard. We still got a lot of. We saved a lot of money.
So we got you can
So you
spend
can go Kevin
7,200 a
Herter.
player. Yeah.
We can go DiVincenzo. He's going to start. So now we got one. This is going to be a high-scoring game. So you want to try to get some more Golden State guys. Now we can go Clay, or
How
we can
much is
go.
Clay?
Clay is 8,800.
That's we got money.
We got money, and then the last utility spot, we can pick any of these guys. Look, with
You
all
got
these injuries,
7,600 left.
look at all these guys that are injured, and look who's left. So a lot of these guys that are left are not going to play a lot of minutes. But Kevin Looney at 4,400 is very cheap. He's going to start. He's going to have to play a lot of minutes against the Lakers with AD and all of the bigs that they have, Hachimura, all of these guys that are going to come in. So at 4,400 now, we can go back and
Okay.
improve on any spot that
Because you got money. You got
we got
3,200
money.
left.
So instead of Jared Vanderbilt for 7,400, let's see if we can spend up and get. I'd rather stay at Vanderbilt.
You don't have
You
to
can do
spend all the
Harrison.
money,
You don't.
right?
Sometimes
you want to.
I mean, they cost for a reason. You know what I mean? They cost
yeah,
for a
for
reason.
sure.
So I would say we can go. We
John,
can
do you
go
play any of
80.
this?
A little bit.
Okay.
We can go 80, and then we can go Jordan Poole, and then we can take Clay off because we don't want all these Golden State guys. And we can go back to him, and then we can spend up here at this spot and get a max guy like LeBron. So we can have LeBron, AD, all the Lakers
Yeah.
guys if you want, or we can throw in a Jordan Poole in one of these spots. So
So you said Jordan Poole's a must.
he's expensive.
Yeah, but you
But-
can afford him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I say
Would you rather have him or LeBron? Or can you have both?
you can do both.
Well, then you got to take somebody else out. But I like who's that was 3,400 is going to get the start in LA?
Looney.
Yeah,
So we'll go
it's
Looney.
a deal, right?
Yeah, it's a great deal. Certain guys, when they don't, their price drops and drops and drops and drops and drops. Like today, Tobias Harris, he's a starting forward for the Sixers. He was 4,900. He's going to play 30 minutes. Good value, but point per minute. You got Embiid, you got Harden. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes it's taking a gamble, and sometimes those are the people. Like I've seen lineups that won 50,000.
You know I'm going to play whatever you finish with.
All right, well,
You know
I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna finish this lineup for him for the night slate, and then I'm gonna put mine in on my phone. So
No, I don't want it to be exact.
it's not.
All right.
Exact what?
You know I'm going to play whatever he puts in my phone. You know that's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I was like, of course that's why I'm having to do it. But I like
I like the sweat.
I do.
It's fun to see
it
guys
doesn't.
get hot, and on here they show the flame if they're hot, and it shows a cool marker if they're not doing anything, and you don't want to see the cool marker. But if all of your guys have flames, you're probably gonna make some money that night.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's an inexpensive way to gamble on a sport I
Absolutely.
personally do not know a lot about. Right.
Well, I'm
So,
gonna.
and I love the action. So for me to get an action for a $15 bill and get a whole 2-3 hours worth of action, that's
Great
fantastic for me, right?
Great action.
Yeah, I like it. So that's what I like about daily fantasy. I mean, I like betting games myself too, but I'm more into sports that I don't know a lot about. I'd rather play the fantasy.
Yeah.
I think I get more from my money.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, John, but Battlehawks playing tonight, or can we get an update on the Battlehawks?
8:00 start.
Oh, 8:00 start, right as we finish. The Battlehawks are +4. The over/under is 38.5. Do you have an opinion on this, John? I don't follow. I don't really haven't
I've been
followed it.
following it a little bit, but there's some ex-NFL guys in there. The old sack leader of the NFL is in the XFL. Vic Beasley
Really?
of the Atlanta Falcons.
Wow.
Never heard of
Yeah.
it.
Well,
He led the league when
yeah.
they blew the 28-3 game to Brady.
Yep.
He led the league in sacks.
And here we are 4
Never
years
heard
later,
of
and he's
him.
out of the league.
Yeah, he was recruited as a fullback in college football. But my man Dabo Sweeney turned him into a defensive end.
Of course, it all
Yeah.
leads back to
So
Clemson.
what does Dabo do? He turns him into a DN, and then what does Vic Beasley do? Just lead all of the
Everything
world in sacks
reverts
as a
back to
DN.
Clemson.
That's all.
Everything.
Defensive end leads the whole world
we
in
on?
sacks.
Are we on? Just
Are
kidding.
we on?
I'm just kidding. Everything reverts back to Clemson somehow, some way.
Well, the XFL. We're talking football, aren't we?
Is this the XFL?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the old leader of led the league in sacks is playing in the XFL now.
So they're playing on
Big deal.
Thursdays and Sundays only, right? Or Saturdays also. Yeah.
There's no set days, I guess.
Yeah.
But they're playing the Sea Dragons. Which team is the Sea Dragons?
Let me see.
Yeah.
Hold on. That's what I would guess too.
Who?
Seattle.
Seattle Sea Dragons?
Yeah. Yeah. And they got the what do you call it? They got what's the Kraken? What a great name for a team. The
I
Seattle.
don't like that.
I
Kraken
love it.
thing.
I love it.
Why don't we just make something up?
Well,
you
we
know?
do. What do you think the slew is? What's
I
the Billiken? It's
know,
the same thing.
It's
The Brahmas.
yeah.
The Brahmas.
I like that.
The
'Cause that's
Brahmas.
a name. That's a word. Like you could look at.
Well, Billiken's a word.
Yeah. No. I
The
think
Kraken. I like the
Kraken's
Kraken.
just a stupid
And their
name.
logo is amazing.
It sounds like something from a dang, fictional movie.
Well, yeah,
or
of
something.
course.
No,
Yeah,
I like
absolutely.
The Kraken. That's a
I
dumb name.
love the
I
Kraken.
like the Sea
I like-
Dragons better for hockey. They should have named the hockey team the Sea Dragons instead of the Kraken.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
who's playing the Sea? Battlehawks are
The
playing.
Battlehawks are playing the Sea Dragons.
But the
at
Sea
8
Dragons are
o'clock.
favored. They're favored.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
the home team favorite.
The home team
Yeah.
favorite -4. You said you didn't get a chance to watch the end of the
I
Battlehawks
watched
game?
the end of
Oh,
the game.
you did
I
watch the
did
end of
watch
the game.
the end where they came back and
So 3/4 of
Yeah.
terrible football, and then all of a sudden, boom.
yeah.
Right? 18-15 final. Our Battlehawks here in St. Louis. I'm going to be going to a game this year. I know I have to go to a game this year. I want to see what it's like.
What
But
is
they
it,
said
Arena football?
No, it's
the
XFL.
XFL.
They have a team here?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the
Oh, wow.
Battlehawks.
The St. Louis
And
Battlehawks.
in fact,
Man.
AJ McCarron,
AJ McCarron's the quarterback.
From
the old
Alabama.
he is the
Alabama.
starting
I know
quarterback for
him.
your
Yeah.
St. Louis Battlehawks.
Yeah. St. Louis is the fighting AJ McCarrons.
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Brent Musburger.
Yeah. You can't bring up AJ McCarron without bringing up Brent Musburger.
Right.
He made a comment about his girl.
He made several comments about his girl.
in the same
Yeah.
5-minute.
Boy,
time
she's a
frame.
beautiful woman. Oh my God, she's a beautiful
Yeah.
woman. Oh my goodness, she's a
Now-
beautiful
and
woman.
then, do you remember the most famous of those comments?
I'll let you say it.
Uh-oh.
Brent Musburger comments. He says
Are
they
we gonna
show a
get
picture of AJ McCarron's girlfriend, and says
Allegedly said. Yeah.
No, he didn't allegedly say it.
I
It's
there
on
it
the
is.
air.
Plows right through it. Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, it
All right, go
wasn't
ahead.
alleged, it was
Go
on
ahead.
the air. He says, "Well, apparently, kids, if you're a young man in Alabama, learn how to play quarterback." Apparently, as they're showing a picture of this.
I don't know how I feel about that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, what are you gonna do? That's
Brent
funny.
Musburger. He coined the phrase "the most exciting 25 seconds in all of football." Brent Musburger, back in the 80s.
Yeah, he's good to listen to.
Yeah.
Right. He still comes on every now and again. Right. Now and again.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got some age on him though.
Yeah, that's all right.
All
right.
All right. We got our lineup set.
We've got our NBA fantasy lineup
All right.
here.
Did you took Poole off?
We got D'Angelo Russell, Sharp, Reddish, Harrison Barnes, Kevon Looney, Kevin Herter, and then we got LeBron and Sabonis for our spin up.
Okay. I'm in. But
So
Poole's out.
If LeBron is no Poole. But
You're
we
saving him
have-
for you.
No, we
I was
didn't
to
we
say
didn't
LeBron
get
out.
we didn't get Poole.
No, it's questionable, right?
Questionable.
Oh,
Yeah,
questionable.
he's
Yeah,
probably
questionable.
gonna play. He's probably gonna play. But and let's see, we can see now. This is a good thing about the positions.
Oh, he's changing
We
it
can
on
move
me.
it around. So we can put
Hey.
LeBron up here. I want to get some of that Golden State. So I'm gonna get DiVincenzo. Put him in there.
Even Shinzo better be cheap.
All right.
Yeah, he's 5K.
He should be 30.
And then we can
All right.
go Cam Reddish. Still got 1,300.
DiVincenzo, I remember watching him at Villanova.
Who's that?
DiVincenzo, Golden State Warrior. Yep,
And
Villanova
then Harrison
Wildcat.
Barnes.
You know what else?
Wildcats.
You probably don't care as much as I do about this, but right around the corner, starting soccer in St. Louis.
Whatever.
Yeah, I'm
All right.
The world's going to be on their own on the soccer thing.
No, listen, it's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah.
I got to take a screenshot of
Be
this.
on their own on that.
All right. And what time do I have to get? I got 9 o'clock
Yeah.
Central to get
Night
that in.
night slate. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All
Plenty
right.
of time.
Plenty of time. What do we got with your?
The Battlehawks starting at 8. But we got some good 8 o'clock college basketball games too, David. Our hometown Lions play at 8 o'clock. Our hometown Lions.
Yeah, Division One.
David,
Hey, you talk about that. How do they compete in Division One? That's
they're
what I want to
playing.
know.
Hey, I made a bet on a
Recruiting.
Lindenwood game and won this year. Lindenwood, Eastern Illinois going to Lindenwood. Lindenwood beat them by 20. So yeah,
What is this going on right now?
What's going on live?
Look
right
at you. On your only player playing right now on fire.
now? No, I got 2.
Oh, he hasn't scored anything yet, but it's early.
No, right here.
What's this? Just
That's
started?
Jokic. No, that's MB.
Pre-game. Yeah.
MB.
30.5
Yeah.
and beat. Wow, look at you. That's a great way to start.
Yeah, that's the best lineup I have. My other lineups I have Bogdanovich for Detroit. And he's laying an egg right now.
yeah, you
He's
got a
not doing
Detroit
very
player
good.
that you're not looking good. They don't have any points, do they?
No,
Yeah,
they
they're
got
halftime.
63 points. It's not looking good.
All right, let's see what kind of tournament we're gonna play. John, how we doing with
Kind of
Memphis?
tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna pick which one I want to play, put the
Oh.
lineup in. What's Memphis doing?
See what Memphis
Let's
do.
do it. Let's do it.
Hopefully we're up 10. Or not.
They're not going to be up 10 this game.
Oh my
They are
goodness.
struggling.
64.
It's 64-62. So Wichita State's going to drag this thing out, man. They are going to drag it out.
Another
13
turnover.
turnovers. You know, they're staying strong in the turnover game. They've limited those in the second half.
All right, just real quick, I want to mention tomorrow on 590 The Fan, Earl's going to join me for a little bit tomorrow. We're going to have him by phone. John's going to take a step away tomorrow. We'll see, right? We'll see. We don't know what's going to go on. We'll see what your schedule's like. Tomorrow also, Al LaRose from C&H Diamond Racing. We're going to have a little talk with him. We're going to do a little horse racing only because let me tell you what's going on. That horse we talked about, Frosted Departure, a few weeks ago that
Yeah.
ran third at 46-1 in a stakes in the Southwest is running in $1 Million Rebel Stakes Saturday.
Saturday.
Where at?
In Oakland, where I was last week.
Oh, okay.
So on his way down there,
Let's-
we're going to have
let's-
owner of the horse.
Let's
Yeah.
I know, right?
Departure.
I know. Frosted.
Frosted Flakes Departure.
Yes.
I like it.
is,
He's running Saturday.
So we're
What
going
do you think his odds will be?
to big,
30-1,
probably 20-1.
20-1.
Yeah, somewhere around 20-1.
How
But
many horses are going to be in that race?
That's a good question. I'll look it up.
I don't know. 5, 20?
It could be many. I think 8 right now.
Okay, so 8-ish. No
8-ish.
more than 12.
No more than 12.
Right. Okay. So we're looking at about 8, 9, 10 horses.
Yeah.
What time is that race?
Probably around 4:35.
Around 4:30 or 5.
I can tell you in a second, but
Okay, well,
yeah,
do your magic there.
I'm going to do my magic. You
So-
you continue with something because I'm going to look
4:30
this
or
up.
5.
Yeah, I'm going to look at this.
So
up.
we're looking at 8, 9, or 10 horses in the race. And then he'll be about a 20-1 out of 8, 9, or 10 horses.
I'm going to tell you what he's going to be.
All right.
I'm going to tell you.
I like the Frosted Flakes Departure and the
Yeah.
horse racing tomorrow.
I know, right? So
Let's
here,
get it.
Saturday.
Or
Let's get it.
Saturday.
Saturday? So Saturday, it's we were going to go to Oakland.
Oakland.
And-
You just got back from Oakland.
I did.
Frosted Flakes Departure when you were down there?
No,
Ah,
but he
man.
was there.
Oh, he
I did
was?
not visit him in the stable, but he was
I
there.
might have had to play a
So
visit
here's the
on
Rebel
Frosted
Stakes.
Flakes.
So let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3. There are 11 horses in the race. Frosted Departure.
11.
So
20 to
was I
1.
right on that?
You'd want
20-1 morning line. He did draw the 11 post, which is kind of tough, but he's got tactical speed.
Why is that tough? Because you're all the way on the outside.
right? And they have a short run into the first turn.
Mm.
Do they pick which, like the good horses? Do they give good horses or favorites the outside or
No,
They
it's
just
a random draw.
random? Okay,
It's a
that's
random
good.
draw. So you got a little unlucky to draw the extreme outside. But the good thing about this horse, he's got tactical speed, which means he can get out and get a good position early. Horses that like to come from behind, sometimes they get caught wide because you're trying to pull him back, but you don't want to struggle with the horse, or he doesn't go right to the lead. He's not going to get the lead, but he's going to be out there, and we'll see what happens. Look, he was 46-1 last time.
And one.
And no, he ran third. So he lost to a 1-9 shot, which is
Wow.
there's a lot of good horses in this race. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. So we're going to talk about that
Frosted Departure.
Frosted
sighting
Departure sighting Saturday. If he hits the board, which 1, 2, or 3 in this race, looks like if he stays healthy, he's going to be on his way to the Kentucky Derby. Yeah.
What?
Our frosted departure is
Yeah.
going to be in the Kentucky
Well, we'll
Derby
see.
with
Let's
a
see.
1, 2, or 3 finish.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see what happens.
Frosted,
As long as he
I
stays.
frosted,
like
That's
it.
what this is so exciting is because
frosted flakes.
Al and his partner Greg, who he had on 590 a few weeks ago, right before the Southwest. Man, how exciting! I mean, these guys put a lot of money into the sport, and they've got a horse that's right there. We'll
Got a
see.
shot.
Look, got a shot. That's all you need.
Is there any
Sometimes.
way frosted departure can get in the Derby if he doesn't finish 1, 2, or 3?
Well, he would have to run in another prep race
Okay.
and finish well
But
because
if he
it's all
finishes 1,
point.
2, or 3, how big of a favorite is he to be in the Derby?
He won't be a favorite though. Just to be in the Derby,
If finishes 1, 2, or 3,
1 or 2. Yeah, I mean, as long as he stays healthy, he'll run.
wow.
Yeah, it's a
And
big.
if that happens, he'll be one of those 40 to 1 horses.
Yeah, he'll be 30.
50 to
Yeah,
1.
30, 40, 50.
Kind of
Only
like the old
and I'll tell
country
you why.
house.
Yes, but I'll tell you why is because his breeding doesn't suggest he can get the distance. He's a very good horse, very very talented young horse, but he's and a little. This is one of those things with your heart,
Yeah.
right? You make a connection with the owners. I've spoken with the trainer, and these are one of these. It's like a heart thing, you know.
Yeah, man, that's
It's
what-
like
that's
Evan
fun
Elder,
about
right?
it, man.
And after look, my bet with on Evan Elder the other night was with the heart, but he's proven that he can. He fought well, and he was leading the big favorite. You know, so Evan, I can't wait to have Evan on and see let him break down his fight. So he's seven
You
and
got
2 as
fight
a
of the year
professional,
or fight of the
fight of the
night.
night, and he was imagine leading the fight, leading the
Get
fight
his
2
ass.
rounds to get a
Ugh.
gash. Guy caught his elbow on his his eye, and
Ugh.
that thing was bad. It didn't
I
look
bet.
that bad right away,
Yeah.
but
You can't.
even
You,
Dana White said they didn't understand why he stopped the fight until they
yeah.
saw
Oh.
pictures of the gash. It's huge.
Yeah.
That's gonna leave a
Some of
scar.
those gashes are
Yeah.
humongous.
Yeah.
It's just like
So,
that-
but
yeah.
imagine he's leading the fight. He was a big dog, so he wasn't projected to win by the odds. But
Yeah.
he's such a nice young man. He's got a great future ahead of him. I'm excited. Can't wait to have him on. But yeah, so
The
little
Memphis
horse.
Tigers pulling away now.
Okay, here we
Little
go.
5-point lead.
How much
with
time
4
left?
minutes left.
4 minutes.
Yep.
All right.
Memphis
that?
minus
What's the-
3.5.
So
What do we got?
No, I was just looking at. No.
Oh, the turnover.
Schedule. No.
Schedule.
See who that? I think
All
Houston's
right.
the
Let's see
next
what's
game.
going. Which game are you going to?
We
Earl?
got Cincinnati, SMU, and Houston. Houston on the 5th.
Houston on the 5th.
Yeah.
And it's in
Cincinnati
Memphis.
at home.
It says versus
Yeah.
Houston. You're
And
going
SMU, yeah, at home.
That March
2 home.
4th, March 5th weekend is going to be the last
Oh, I
weekend
see.
of the
Versus
regular
at-
season in college basketball.
Say that again.
The March 4th and March 5th, that Saturday and Sunday is going to be the last day of the college basketball season.
But the tournament doesn't start till like the late
I
Later
understand.
in
So
the-
what they're going to do after 4th and 5th, they're going to get into the
conference
tournaments.
tournaments. Yep.
Yeah. The Arch Madness
Yeah.
of the Mo Valley.
Yeah, I heard
Is,
Where-
about that.
that'll be starting before. I think. Let's look. I think that's
Well, I wonder where are they having the tournaments this year? Where can you go watch them? Where can you physically?
probably at the same place.
No, not Arch Madness. I'm talking every year. Sometimes it's in St. Louis.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
I'd
talking
have to
about,
look.
like,
It's
yeah.
in so many different locations. I don't know if it's going to be a St. Louis location.
I don't think it's
Uh,
St. Louis this year.
Yeah, I'd have to see Arch
For the
Madness
tournament.
for the
No.
Mo Valley.
No, for all the dance.
The third. through
Kansas
the
City,
6th,
second
it
round?
looks like.
Oh, Kansas City, second round. He said.
Okay.
Yeah, Jeff said.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's closing. Yeah. Second week. Yeah.
Second week,
Sweet
okay.
16 week. Yeah. Well, if when they come to St. Louis again, I'm gonna go. I've always wanted to go.
Yeah.
What a great atmosphere,
I
right?
bet, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Have you been to any of them?
I played in one.
I know, I'm
I
just
know.
kidding.
I'm just joking.
I meant to watch.
I went to watch.
Obviously. And guess who we played? Arizona
Arizona
State.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
And
not
we
there.
lost.
I know.
They lost.
Well,
Rub-
it depends
rub
who
it
we.
in. Rub it
Depends
in.
who we. Depends who we. I
Yeah.
mean, we is yes, Arizona State. Yes, we won. But no, that's when it comes to St. Louis, I'm definitely gonna go.
Yeah.
I always wanted to go to one. Yeah, it sounds like a good time. Anything else you want to get to? We got about 9 minutes left.
Nah, I mean that wraps up the season in college basketball for the regular season. Then they'll get in conference tournaments, and then we'll get some seeding going. But yeah, that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is always fun with the conference tournaments because you got so much action. Everybody's starting to play. Because everybody gets a shot. Everybody's a shot to win their conference tournament and make March Madness, and then anything can happen. You make March Madness. Look at the NC State Wolfpack in the most famous run, one of the most famous runs, Jim Valvano.
Just got to get in. That's the
Yeah,
main thing.
you got to
Yeah.
survive and advance.
Some teams
They
just
were
got to get
not going to
in.
make the tournament unless they won the ACC tournament. They won the ACC tournament,
Got to get
and then
in.
they somehow pulled a, rabbit out of a hat and beat that Houston team in the national championship game. That was one of the biggest upsets ever.
Yeah.
To beat that Houston team. That Houston team was
It's
loaded.
loaded. Yeah.
They had a guy by the name of Hakeem Olajuwon. You ever heard of him?
Beast.
Yeah,
Who?
yeah, Hakeem
The
Olajuwon. Then
dream.
they had another big guy, didn't they?
They had a few. They had a squad.
Yeah, that team was just stacked. One of the best regular season college basketball teams in the history of the sport was that Houston team. And then NC State with that survive and advance.
That wasn't a
just,
five slammer jammer team, was it? With Clyde and
no.
okay.
Let me look.
Yeah.
That was 80,
Oh,
82, 83.
You're going way back.
Yeah, I mean this is one of the best.
You know what? I just want to mention
83.
the old Running Rebels.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Bobby.
Yeah.
We talked about Bobby Hurley
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
Bobby Hurley hit a game winner
Larry
against the
Johnson,
running
Stacey
Rebels.
Augmon.
It was funny. Coach K tells that story about Bobby Hurley. He's like, usually every player I've ever coached, this was 91, I think. He said, every player I've ever coached, if there's a game-ending situation, we always draw up a play, or if there's no timeouts, we look to the bench for a second for the play. Bobby Hurley didn't glance over at the bench one time.
He knew the play.
No, he was just going to put him on his back and make a shot,
okay.
and that's what he did.
I do remember
Yeah,
that.
Bobby Hurley. Yeah.
I do remember that.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Duke's had some,
the Ru- the
Duke's
Ru-
had some gritty players come through that school, man.
What was it? I can't. Tarkis? What was it?
Arcanian.
Tarkanian.
Yeah, the old towel biter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Running Rebels.
Yeah, the running Rebels. That was a hell of a team too. That regular season UNLV team was unbelievable.
The Running Rebels.
I think they ran the table until Duke beat them. They were undefeated.
Who was on some of those teams? You said Larry Johnson. Who else? I can't remember. But
I can't remember the guards.
that was fun. That's when I became a real basketball fan.
That team.
Yeah. I mean, I loved everything Las Vegas, even as a kid,
They
right?
were good.
Yeah. But
yeah, Stacey Augmon.
Plastic Man.
Yeah, Greg Anthony.
say that again.
The Plastic Man.
Why they call him that?
Because he's long. He
Yeah.
got super. I actually was in training camp with the Magic out of college,
Okay. Yep.
and Stacey Augmon, Steve Francis,
Yep. Steve.
Grant Hill, Pat Garrity, Dwight Howard, Hedo Turkoglu.
I don't know who that is. I know.
You don't know who Turkoglu
I
is?
don't.
Yeah,
He's a Turkish guy. He was like a Turkish star. He came over. He could shoot. Played the 3-4. But man, they had a Jameer Nelson was on that team squad. They had a nice
Jameer Nelson. was a
Katino
heck of a-
Mobley,
Hey, Jameer
Katino
Nelson.
Mobley.
You remember where he went to school at?
St. John's,
St.
or
Joe's.
Yeah.
St. Joseph's. Jameer Nelson. You know who else was his star shooting guard? Anybody remember?
I have no idea.
I know you don't.
St. Who?
I have
Jameer
no
Nelson
idea.
had another guard. They made a run for a year.
This
in
is
the tournament.
fascinating.
I know
though,
you're
right?
This
talking about.
guard went on to play
Yeah.
for the
good
Cavaliers,
stuff.
and then went on to play for Dallas, and now he's like famous for bad reasons, for like
Can't think of his name.
Delonte West.
I do know.
Yeah,
I
He
recognize
was
the
a
name.
walking bucket. He could play.
Yeah, Delonte West could play.
Played against him in Cleveland. He was good.
Yeah. Just
He was good.
unfortunately, kind of mental health stuff got a hold
Yeah.
of him, man, and
That's real.
sad
It's
situation.
real. Yeah.
Sad.
Earl, where's your favorite place to play?
The Garden.
Huh?
The Garden.
The Garden, really?
Oh,
It's
really?
just a-
Why? Why is the Garden your
it's just
favorite? I know it's the Garden.
The
but
Garden
still.
is like the way the Garden is set up. It's like it's like you're at the opera or something. You're the showcase. So the lighting is different to where it's like the music, the crowd, the announcer, everything is like, some places it's lit up. It's a huge building, but
Yeah.
the Garden is big, but you can't really see all the way up into the stands. You can see, but
The focus is the floor.
even like the Forum or when the Lakers played
Yeah.
before, the lighting is different to where everything is all on the floor. And then but the Garden is just the history, the jerseys, the banners, the music. It's like it doesn't change. It's the same vibe from the Knickerbockers back in the
Ah.
day. So just being on the court and especially when I played, like when I wasn't playing, it was just still an environment to He's like, man, it's so much history in this building, and certain announcers make the game. Like the Detroit Pistons announcer, he made the game when Chauncey Billups and Ben Wallace and like the
So
way
you
they
can hear 'em.
call the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like when you go somewhere and they're like, Paul, like the way they call the game, Paul Pierce 3, like certain things in the Garden, the way they called the game was it's just a different feel. And then once I finally got to play in the Garden for the Knicks, and I had a good game, and I just was hearing my name, I was like, dang, like some years ago, I was sitting here like, man, sitting on the bench, like, man, this is cool to watch these guys and hear their name. Now I got a Knicks jersey on, and that was by far one of the best basketball moments, to be called up, to be told you're going to start at home in the Garden against the Celtics. It was a, YouTube, Google it.
I
You
will.
seen that one?
No, but I will. I absolutely will.
Google that. That was one of my best games. Google it.
You got the date?
It's a good highlight.
You got the date? Do you remember the
You
date?
just type in Earl Barron,
All right.
Knicks Celtics.
I will.
YouTube, and you'll see the video. I still have the ball at home. Career high
really?
rebounds. 18 rebounds.
Nice.
Career high.
Nice.
They brought me the ball. I was like,
Look at the
this
smile
is
it brings
pretty
to his
cool.
face. Right? That is way cool. Of
This
course,
is
it's
pretty
cool.
cool.
So,
I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that? Oh, sorry. I thought he was asking me a question. No, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So, the Garden by far. LA is cool, but
what cities do you? Oh God, we got to go play here.
Utah,
Utah,
Portland.
Portland. All right.
But the thing about Portland
Utah's
was
on everybody's.
the
Oh
thing
God, we
about
gotta play
Portland
here.
was I used to think certain things about Portland, because Portland's a hippie town. You go downtown, you go to your hotel, you see, graffiti and different things, and it's like, oh, this is terrible. The only thing you get hyped about Portland is going to the Nike factory and get some shoes. But once I got signed to go to training camp,
That's funny.
actually the Trailblazers signed me 1 year for the playoffs. When LaMarcus Aldridge was there, Marcus Camby, Gerald Wallace, they had a pretty good squad, so they signed me for the playoffs. And I got to see the city. I got to go hang out, go to some bars. They had a lot of wineries and breweries, and I was like, this city, good food trucks. I started learning about food. I've never ate at a food truck before.
They're the best.
But it's a
They
fun
really
city,
are.
man. It's a fun city. I like Portland, man. Portland is one of those places where you'll judge it, but once you're there for a while, you learn to love it.
All right. Earl's going to join us on 590 The Fan tomorrow evening. Looking forward to that, continuing our conversation with him. We talk a little horse racing about our friends that own Frosted Departure in the big Rebel Stakes at Oaklawn this weekend. And who knows what else. We'll probably cover some basketball for the
Looks
weekend.
like the Memphis Tigers are going to hold on. Maybe cross our fingers here.
How much time?
5-point game, 50 seconds left.
14 turnovers. I like it. That's how you win games. Cut down on those turnovers.
5 in the second half total.
All right.
11 in the first half.
We got to get out of here. This is our
Absolutely.
first Thursday evening here at DraftKings at Casino Queen. It's quite busy, and this is a bunch of fun. So we'll be 6 to 7 tomorrow night on 590 The Fan. For Earl Barron, Clemson John, my name's David Sharp. Till next week. Thanks for watching. Anything?
My phone's probably on fire right now.
I know. Thank you. So